Just looking at each of these in a little bit more detail, the first thing I mentioned is money laundering. My thesis is that if we are doing our money laundering job properly, with all of the implications that that brings with it, then to some extent that answers about 95% of the other criminal activities that I've just briefly run through. But money laundering as a concept is broadly the process of putting bad money through a good deal in order to make the bad money appear legitimate. The deals are perfectly okay. They're perfectly legal, straightforward, above board, and beyond reproach. The problem, if we have it, is about the client and particularly where he gets his money from. Of course, on the other hand, Stephanie Boyce, the president of the Law Society, has said that solicitors are highly regulated. We're not allowed to bring spurious objections to processes. So if there is an argument to be had, of course, the client has a right to put the argument and they can employ a lawyer to do that for them. But the SRA have further reminded us that we are only allowed to pursue legitimate actions. We cannot take any spurious or specious actions against people. We can only make properly arguable cases. And there is therefore a thin line to be drawn between genuinely acting for people who have a grievance, as of course was the case in the deportation cases to Rwanda, and those who are at the behest of the oligarchs, the kleptocrats, and the Russian elite, who are threatening people with less well-founded actions just in order to shut them up. It's a fine line, but we have to draw it. The Financial Action Task Force publishes a list of uncooperative territories and jurisdictions, any transaction with which must be treated with extra caution. It's not necessarily saying we can't do the deal with that jurisdiction, but we just have to be doubly cautious. But that's not the only list. There are lists published by Transparency International, and the UK has published its own lists of suspicious territories that have to be looked at through charcoal-tinted spectacles, regardless of anything else that might have cropped up. And the reason for that is that the jurisdictions may have links to corruption and large-scale crime, and should be treated with inherent skepticism.